This weekend's message comes from the Deep Love series that we're doing, and we talked about communication. The passage we read was out of 1 Peter chapter 4, verses 7 through 11. And in it, there were three real points I wanted to make in the sermon. And one is that everyone's different. I wanted to recap that because we have different personalities, which we talked about last week, our communication styles are different. And we need to hear each other better. So, and to speak better. So we talked about that. And then I talked about how your words matter, that your words have the power to bring life to someone and really change them in a positive way, but they also have the power to destroy. And all of us have people in our life who have put words into us that were life-bringing. But we also have people in our life, and sometimes it's the same people, that have used words to really damage us too. So our words matter. And then the last one was that our actions speak. Our actions communicate just as much as our words do. And in the sermon, I use the metaphor of leaving a trace, right? If a burglar breaks into your house, or if there's a crime that's committed, that person always leaves a trace of themselves everywhere they go. Well, here's what I want you to know. Anytime you interact with another person, you leave your trace on them. If it's someone you interact with every day, like a child or a spouse, you're leaving a large amount of traces of you on them. And what kind of trace are you going to live? At the end of your life, you will know what kind of trace you left on those people. They'll stand around your grave and you'll know. But you have the choice. You can leave one that's always bringing life, or you can leave one that's always tearing down. And a lot of that has to do with your communication with one another. You know, in it, I gave some do's and don'ts in communication. It was just practical advice that for me that I've learned as a pastor. And a couple of them were, hey, don't, when you communicate via email and text and social media, don't do confrontation that way. It's really weird how we get in fights on email and text and social media, and really we don't see that person's face, we don't see how they react, we don't see how our words are tearing them down. So we're actually meaner than we normally would. We would say things that we normally wouldn't, and it's the worst way to handle conflict. So I always recommend that you do it to people's face to face, and if you can't, do it via phone. And I told the story of my good friend Dave, who wrote me this terrible email, and it tore me down and it really hurt. And I started to type up my own response, and I was going to tell him what a terrible person he was, and all his faults. And the Holy Spirit reminded me, and I deleted it, and I just responded back, Dave, I need you to come in and read this letter to me, to my face. And he came in, and he just came in, and he was crying, and he apologized. He said, oh my gosh, I just read this letter. It was an attack from Satan on my pastor, and I'm so sorry. And I've been guilty as well of sending something that hitting send and going, I shouldn't have done that. So don't do that. The do's is become an active listener, right? The more you listen, I had a professor say to me once, he said, Shawn, you should probably focus more on being interested than being interesting. St. Francis of Assisi, he says this, I have the quote. He says, seek first to understand and then be understood. Be an active listener and forgive. Say, I forgive you. Ask for forgiveness. Expose when you have wronged someone. Just say it. Will you forgive me? Don't give the reason why you did it. That's fine. You just say, listen, I did this to you, and that was wrong, and it hurt you. Will you forgive me? And they may or they may not. You don't need to justify it, anything like that. You just need to give them the power back. Because when you did something wrong, you took something from them. You took power from them. You took choice from them. You took something. And when you ask them to forgive you, you're giving them that power back. So anyways, guys, enjoy it. I have you bounce around in Proverbs and the main passage from 1 Peter. And make sure you get into the Word, and then make sure you pray for each other. So guys, have a great week. Go be the church.